Okay, public health officials stressing it's vital that we stay at home. But here is a problem. The weekend is set to be very, very good. Yep. The weather looking maybe around 20 degrees in some parts of the country. So what is going to happen then? Well, with temperatures forecast so high, growing concerns that people will be tempted to go to parks, go to beaches, go to beauty spots, all that sort of thing. But medical experts do not want that to happen. And we're going to speak to one now, and he's Niall Eames. Niall is a trauma and orthopaedic surgeon at the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast. And Niall, as I understand it, you've been redeployed to the coronavirus front line at what will be Belfast Nightingale Hospital from this weekend.
Yes, good morning. Yes, exactly. Yes, but the problem is going to be huge for everyone. One of the most common places to hurt ourselves is in the home, and we're all locked down in our homes at the moment. It's just a problem waiting to happen, and we're under huge stress at the moment. So anything we can do to reduce that problem for everyone will be a huge help.
Well, you see, Niall, obviously what you're saying is sensible, but people also, you know, they're cooped up. The weather's going to be good. You know, the beautiful areas we've got in Northern Ireland, people want to go out. They'll want to go out all over the country. But basically, I know you don't want to sound as if you're going to pour cold water on all of this, but you are, aren't you?
Well, absolutely. We can't stop accidents. Of course, those happen. But what we call unintentional injuries, if we can reduce those down, that would make a huge difference. There are hundreds of thousands of people in this hospital across the UK with unintentional injuries every year. And if we go through each age group, it's very obvious what those risk things are. We have almost 4,000 young children beneath the age of 5 falling down the stairs at Holmes each year, coming to hospital with broken bones and injuries. Please look after your kids, don't let them fall down the stairs. The next big thing are trampolines. If the weather's lovely, I have kids of my own, I fully understand kids want to go out and play, they have to go out and play. But trampolines are a big cause of injuries for us. We must supervise the kids in trampolines and don't let them do silly things.
So Niall, but you're really saying your message is be risk adverse. And the reason you're saying be risk adverse is because there's going to be a repercussion, there's going to be an impact on A&E. And if doctors are in A&E, they're not dealing with coronavirus.
Exactly, absolutely. So it's going to put more pressure on our health service, and it's going to lead to people not having the treatment that they expect to have. So that overall we must reduce that unintentional injury, that impact upon our health service and upon patients.
Yeah, and the other thing is now, people, when the weather's good, if they've got gardens, people are tempted to get out, start mowing the lawn, trimming the hedge, getting up a ladder, painting the shed, and that's the sort of thing you don't want people to do.
Absolutely. Please lock your ladders away. This is not the time to ladder. Just everything that involves gravity is risk. If you fall from a ladder, you're going to hurt yourself. We all across the UK, across the world, see patients coming in with multiple fractures, multiple injuries from falling from ladders. Do not take this opportunity to go and fix the gutters or to paint the outside of the house. Please lock the ladders away. And similarly, my plastic surgical colleagues are crying out, please don't be changing the blade in your lawnmower or using the strimmer for the first time. Be just, as you said, it would be risk averse. This is the time to damp everything down. As my daughter said, protect yourself in cotton wool. Try and keep yourself safe and look after your family and friends as well. Think about the older members of our community, people over 65.
Yeah, but you're saying that because obviously you're speaking from your own profession. You know what limited resources there are there. You know how many members of NHS staff have contracted COVID-19 already. That takes them from the front line as well. So let's finally, as we say goodbye to you, let's spell this out, what you are actually saying to people. You're saying if you put yourself at risk, even though it may be through fun and relaxation, there are decisions, there are repercussions if you are injured.
Exactly. You're putting stress on the ambulance service, the fire service, the police service, all the paramedical services. You're putting stress on the entire health service that's already under huge stress, and you're putting yourself, most importantly, at risk. And we may not be able to provide the treatment that you expect to be provided at the moment as we go through this surge and all our hospitals come under huge pressure. We will do our absolute best to look after people. But it's just common sense. As the pressure grows and grows, the resource to try and treat injuries is not going to be there as people expect it to be. It's common sense.
OK, Dr. Eames, good luck with all that you and your colleagues do. Thank you for taking time out talking to us. I hope your message gets across.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Niall.
Those are messages people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear.
Because actually you're natural, if you're off work and you know it's the time to do things
Ride
that
a
you
bike,
wouldn't normally do.
fall off it.
Or you think, I'll paint the shed.
But this is also where the police come into this whole situation. And we're going over now to former police officer Norman Brennan, because, Norman, we're talking about the responsibilities that the police have, but we're also talking about the responsibilities members of the public have. And, you know, we hate sort of wagging the finger and say, don't do this, don't do that. But really, there has to be a certain amount of collective responsibility in all of this, hasn't there?
Yeah, there certainly has. What I want to say, first of all, is that on behalf of the police service, is that there's been a lot of misinformation that has been given out in the national media over the last few days. We find it malicious, inflammatory, and it does nothing to help reassure the public. We're not out there to make their lives a nightmare. If you want to buy one Easter egg, buy one Easter egg, buy 5. We don't really care. Shop quickly, buy minimum, not maximum, and so other people can get in there. The long and the short is the police are the public's friend. And there are certain people within society at the moment that don't quite realise how serious this is. Now, pretty much like World War II, there were curfews, there were blackouts. People knew that there was a chance of dying. This is a war, not in the conventional sense, but very similar. And all we're asking people to do is to stay at home, shop quickly, exercise quickly, and don't carry out any unnecessary journeys. And a caveat to that, Eamonn, is this. In Pakistan, police officers are going around the streets with 6-foot-long sticks, bashing people. They're on the back of mopeds, whacking moped riders for not being at home. In Spain and in Italy, police officers in 3 or 4 carloads are kicking people's legs from beneath them, handcuffing them and taking them away, and pulling a female out of a swimming pool, quite undignified, and handcuffing her. What are the British police doing? We're asking the public, please adhere to the government guidelines. It's not rocket science, Eamonn.
No, and we said earlier, Norman, that people have to have a sense of responsibility. But we saw that first weekend in lockdown when the weather was good. People do want to get out. They're allowed out. So what's your advice this weekend? If the weather is nice, you can go out, but stay in your local area. Don't travel.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you can leave your home for perhaps an hour to do a run, to do a cycle. This is not the Stasi or police state, as a ridiculous Supreme Court ex-judge has said. What we are trying to say to the public is work with us. The government, the media put huge force on the government to come out and give some sort of guidelines. The government came out and gave the guidelines. The first people to criticise anybody is the national media of the police, when all we're trying to do is to police the streets, make sure the elderly are not being scammed, carry out and doing our normal duties. Before this actually occurred, we were almost broken. We just could barely cope with everyday policing, let alone this epidemic. So our message to the public is clear. Stay at home. It could save your life. Buy your Easter eggs, but if you don't have to buy them, don't. Because we want you to be alive next Easter so you can buy Easter eggs for your loved ones. Because if you don't, and sadly too many are not, many of your loved ones won't be here next Easter.
Well, that's a very sobering thought and hopefully a message that people watching today will take away. Thank you very much, Norman. Good to talk to you. Stay safe now, won't you?